Hello.
Thank you, DJ, once again. And RMC, we're back. I've got my drink of water. Still a little out of breath, if I'm going to be honest with you, after that incredible game 3. But we got him here. Kenny, first of all, welcome. And I'll just open it up with a first question for you. I got to know. That one moment, that last final second, you decide this is it. I'm going over the wall. Win or lose, we're going to take this team fight and force the issue. What were your thoughts?
It was more reactionary. Just pull the trigger and things happened. Luckily we won, and luckily my team followed up with me.
Luckily, now that's not a term we want to hear right now.
It's the same thing that happened. How we ended game 1, was it? I cooked over the wall, and then my team just followed up. Luckily.
Well, game 1 you also had like a 23-5 error, so not quite the same situation. And actually, just as a natural follow-up on that, game 3 was very different from game 1. Your hook ended game 1, your solar flare ended game 3, but in game 3, you guys kind of almost threw at Baron at around the 21-30 mark there, and for a while it looked like you kind of lost all control of the game. So, what was like the mood and the morale on the team? What were the comms like when that was happening, and how did that end up coming back with that reactionary solar flare?
Well, I wasn't pretty sure. I think comms was just fine. We were just seeing which way we could come back, because I feel like we were not in control of the game even before that point, because we were heading to mid game and they're rather strong, and I couldn't get any picks off anymore on the Yuumi that's like just walking alone, walking back to the lane, or the Ezreal that's sitting on the tower. So we were not in control at that point at all, even like before we threw the fight. Because they were just like snowballing as a team, and if we get caught out, or if they get good engaged, we just lose anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair enough there. I mean, yeah. So I guess, despite not getting a pick for the longest time, you managed to get the all important pick, and that's really what counts, leading you straight to the game. Now that's game 3. We talked a bit about game 1 as well. Game 2, the game that you guys lost, also with that Yuumi here. I actually want to know just what happened to you guys, because I didn't think that Rio coming back was going to be that big a deal, and I'm assuming it wasn't that, but how do you explain what happened in game 2?
Game 2, I feel like I wasn't proactive enough, and I allowed their Yuumi and Hecarim to go mid and get Orianna, get a few picks off, and they just scaled from there. If we played them more slow, played them more evenly, I feel like we had the chance later on in the game too. But we just gave them like the slight lead they needed to push them to mid game in the early stages.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. I mean, despite saying that, I gotta say, Kenny, I mean, you drew support bans every single game, and in that last game, you played the Thresh, they banned it. You played the Nautilus, they banned it. So you might not have felt that you're proactive enough in game 2, but they certainly felt like you were an issue there with that Nautilus. And so, speaking of the draft, last question from me here, because I think I don't know if the AD didn't rag on it that hard, but I certainly did. The Gwen pick, all 3 games here. Game 1, game 2, you guys rotated it between Potato and as well as your mid laner here, and it really didn't work out. Game 3, Runeweaver, you guys picked it again here. Do you think this is a pick that is really that good, considering that you guys are struggling to play it?
The first thing I want to get out of the way is I missed my coach. He's been gone for a bit, and we were just, especially this week, we didn't have any. Last week we had someone. Okay. We have a different coach who helped us with draft, but this week we were just doing it with the players, right? And we just like picking that prior pick, either Ezreal or Gwen, but we just didn't know what to do after that. And so game 2 and game 3 draft, which is, in my opinion, absolutely horrible. We just rolled with it, right?
So then, follow up: whose fault was it?
Whose fault was it?
Yeah. Who takes the blame?
I can't blame anyone, because our mid lane's forced to do draft. He did a good job. He did a good job in the scrims, and he did a good job in the games. It was just unlucky because he's a player, and we just didn't have any coach to be mindful of it for us, right?
Just blame it on the coach. It's always draft cap if you lose. It's never execution. It's just draft cap. It's unplayable. You can't play the game. Honestly, it was an incredible series for you guys to watch. I loved game 3. Sadly, you have some technical difficulties here and there. But honestly, that game could have gone either direction. And that moment right there, I promise you, will be written down in Excellency history. That final engage, maybe pushing for playoffs, may have secured you guys enough points to get your way into the elimination bracket. That will be in a Legacies episode one day, maybe down the line. But honestly, like, it's forever engraved into my mind. And Kenny, I'm so grateful for you being here. Honestly, amazing to hear from you. Final thoughts from you. Anyone you want to shout out? Maybe people that were supporting you in chat. A lot of Kenny fans there. Anyone in particular you want to say thanks to?
I heard Kobe was a chat, but I think any last words would be that my team has always been complaining how we started the season 0-6 because it was 2 FFs and we're getting rated unfairly because of that.
Well, I mean,
whatever.
Only so much you can do when you have difficulties like those. But after a banger of a game 3, turning that series around like that is all we could ever ask for from you guys. And it is proven to me, and I'm sure RMC and everyone here else, including our analysts, that you absolutely can be a top contender when it comes to operating under pressure. Thank you again so much, Kenny, for joining us here for the interview. I wish you all well. And go celebrate the rest of your night.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks. RMC, what a humble man. Great to hear from him. Main man, shot caller there for the likes. And honestly, he said it. It was just reactionary. I wish I had reactions like that because I'm not taking that play. Not one day of the week. But he decided in the moment, in the spur of the moment decision, that's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, and that's why we're casters. Our brain to mouth is fast, brain to hand, not so much. Boomer hands don't do the trick here, but great play from them. And yeah, I mean, teams that have been looking down on AOE God Squad, take note here because they seem to be fixing up their roster here, and you're already starting to see a lot of synergy come through. This is probably the weakest they've been because they didn't have their coach. No knock on Runeweaver there. Runeweaver played well, when despite being on the Quinn and not looking too comfortable on it, we'll give it to him there. And, you know, once they have their coach, I can't imagine they'll be playing playoffs without one.
The Orianna game was just jungled. If it's easy, you don't ever have to take credit for it. But that'll send us out for the evening. Thank you so much, CamComp, for making your debut on Excellency Heavy League, and RMC again for joining me. For everyone here, Wumbo, Benjamins for joining us behind the scenes, making this show run. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, a massive thank you to our sponsor, AM Grind. If you need to stay up for a little bit later to watch the Excellent 3 podcast that's staying on right after this, grab yourself a nice cup of coffee from AM Grind. I'm sure someone will post the link in chat. You can go check them out there. But that'll do it for us tonight on Heavy League. We'll see you next week when we go live. Until then, see you soon. Stay safe.